Hey everyone, it's TV dinner time. Kick your shoes off, get comfy. Today we're talking about a new show. We finished up Shogun, and now we're watching Fallout. So it's brand new, 2024. I think it came out a few weeks ago, maybe at this point. It's May of 2024, and we're recording this. I think it came out in April, maybe
April, I
early
think
May.
last month. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to give everyone a spoiler warning before we get into it. What we decided to do is record an episode of TV Dinner for every 2 episodes of Fallout. So for this episode, we're discussing episodes 1 and 2. So we'll get into it.
Yeah, and I guess I can start it off. Like, do you know much about the video games Fallout?
No, so when we lived together in college, you were playing one of them,
Was
and
I?
yeah. So I got a glimpse, and I would ask you questions, but yeah, I don't know much.
It's a yeah. That's I don't have a lot of like experience with Fallout. Like I tried playing a lot of them and stuff like
Hmm.
Fallout 4, and there's like Fallout New Vegas and stuff. So like the general story is that
It's
the world gets
post-apocalyptic, right?
blown up basically by
Yeah,
the evil kind of like superpowers, which includes America. And so they all kind of like shoot rockets at each other. It's basically like the Cold War ends the horrible way, right? So it's
yeah.
like as to like how we all believe the Cold War would end is what happens in
Fallout.
Fallout, basically. So everyone's stuck in the 70s, uh, which
I
is
love it. I love that
yeah,
though. I love that aspect of it.
I think so. And I think when like if you are a fan of the video game or have any sense of what the video game looked like, you instantly get that nostalgia feeling or like that, whoa, they really made the video game into real life and stuff.
Yeah,
And I think that's like what's amazing and almost like shocking. Because like there's a lot of video game based things out there
are
that never
terrible.
come close to what
Yeah,
the video game was. And this, I
that
think,
Super Mario that came out in like the early '90s with John Leguizamo was terrible. Dragon
yeah,
Ball Z was terrible.
the Dragon Ball Z. There's what's that one kid that has like he can like move the water and stuff. And
Oh, Last
is
Airbender, I
that a video
forgot
game?
about
That's not a
that.
video game technically. I think.
Yeah, it was a
But
TV show though, and then
yeah,
they made
so
a Netflix one, but the first
so
one was
stuff like
terrible.
that ends up sucking.
Yeah, but
And
it'll
I
come
think a
back.
lot of people thought this was gonna suck. Because like a lot of video game players are very like, oh, you can't come close to the video
Yeah,
game and
you
stuff.
can't match what was given to me in a video game.
Yeah. So I don't know. In the first 2 episodes, what you watched more, right? Like
Yeah,
I watched the first two episodes, and then
yeah,
we're recording right now.
I watched 4, so I'm an episode ahead.
So
Well,
you're drawn. You're
TV
drawn
dinner
to
episode
watch
ahead.
more. Like
Yeah,
what made you want to watch more?
there's I can't. That's one thing I'm still trying to figure out myself. Is like I think everybody goes through it. You watch certain shows or movies, and the way it ends or the way the show flows, you're like, oh, I can't wait to watch this next episode. I can't wait a week. Like, give it to me now. And this has that. There's a draw that is like, okay, well, what happens next? Like, don't end here. Like, give me the next piece. And as I've been watching this, towards the end of the episode, something occurs where I'm like, well, don't end it right here. Like, I wanna know what happens next.
Like now I
I'm
need to
too
know.
impatient. Yeah, I'm too impatient to wait. Give me all of it. And so that's what's drawn me to continue to watch episodes. But I've held myself back from binging the entire season because we're recording.
But also it's a very interesting story where there's a
Yeah,
lot of characters, and I think there's one that carries the show from the first 2 episodes I've seen is the dude from Righteous Gemstones.
yeah.
What's his name? Like
Vice
Walter Dawkins
principals.
and stuff.
Yeah,
And he's that ghoul character, and it's very poignant that the show starts off with him, and
which is really cool.
yeah, so you kind of see what he looks like as a normal human, and then you're like, whoa, like this guy turned into this. Like how the hell did that happen?
Yeah, and I like that the color changed. Like the beginning of the episode, the colors. of the episode looked like that era, and then
right?
once it went to post apocalyptic, it was a totally different shade of colors that they used.
Yeah, it's like like everything sucks now.
Yeah, like what the hell happened?
I wanted to ask you. All right, we didn't grow
Mhm.
up during the Cold War era. I think my parents remember oh, you have to like go under your like
No
desk and
bomb
everything, and
shelters and
that's
stuff like
gonna
that.
save
Yeah,
you or something. But like, how confident were you with like that thumb thing? Where like, I remember I was
dude.
like watching something
No,
from the army, and they're like, yeah, just stick your thumb up and everything.
then you know you're dead. If the fact that you can put your thumb up and see the cloud, like you know it's over. Like,
I
come
would
on.
say like if you saw it, you're
Yes, it's
like
over.
you're screwed.
But I wanted to ask you, so the posters and the little character that they have with its thumb up, that's in reference to checking out the cloud.
I don't know the little character. It's the bobblehead that you see. It's like
Mm-hmm.
the little character with the yellow hair. I know like their thing that they wear around the wrist is called the Pip Boy. And
Mm-hmm.
then in the games, like those are like collectibles. You find the little like Pip Boy, um, or I think it's a mascot for Vault Tech. And so like
Okay.
everything had to have a mascot and everything, and that was
Yeah.
their mascot. And I wonder if like yeah, that is true. Like the thumbs up from the character is like, oh, just remember, put your thumb up, and
Yeah.
that's how you do it and stuff. And so that would be actually really interesting.
Yeah, that's what I assumed it was. And I was like, oh, let me ask Jason because he may know since he played more of the game than I did.
Yeah,
Did
I
you,
may go back and play the games actually. So it like a lot of people went back and played the games anyways after this show. So
yeah.
I may be one of them.
Did you realize Christopher Nolan's brother was attached to this?
No.
Yeah, the Nolan is Christopher Nolan's brother. So I think there's something in the blood or the water in that family that pumps out good shit.
Hey, and probably, and granted, you kind of have a good IP to start off with and stuff, but
Oh
it's like,
yeah,
how do
but
you
you can
visualize
tank
that
that though.
on
Yeah.
the silver screen and stuff? And so, yeah, I think Christopher Nolan knows how to like probably explain things of like his point of view and thinking and stuff, and how does he piece together like stories,
Yeah.
and then
And then
how
his
does he
brother is
visualize things, and his brother's just part
one
of
A,
that.
one B type of thing. Yeah. Like we grew up together. You tell stories, I tell stories. Like I can do this too.
Now, let me ask you this: in the
Mhm.
post-apocalyptic time, when I was watching it. It's the second episode when the lady, the main character, comes out of the vault,
Mhm.
and starts meeting the characters out in the wasteland, as
Yeah.
it's called. I was like, I'm totally gonna be that dude that walk around in a loincloth and no one bothers me anymore.
That's the only way to handle that, honestly.
Yeah, it's like, all
Because
right,
people are
who
like, "Oh, this
cares?
person is absolutely insane." Like, forget it. I'm happy you brought up the second episode. So when she's walking through the wasteland and she's walking through that abandoned building and there's like sand everywhere,
Hmm.
that I saw it and I was like, oh, I think that's kind of based off this photographer. I didn't remember the photographer's name, so I had to Google it. It's James Kerwin, and he's like famous for going to these old abandoned places that have sand within them and like capturing these amazing photos. And as soon as I saw that moment in the episode, I was like, oh, I wonder if that's a reference to him, which
Yeah,
I
and that's
couldn't find
probably,
anything, but I
which is
figured.
kind of nice. Is like you see a little influence, and it's very logical. Where it's like everyone says once the human race is like off the planet, the land will take over and stuff. Like
Mm-hmm.
if you have a building that's like right near the coast, there's winds, there's all this stuff, and it's gonna blow sand in there.
Turn into
Um,
Bikini Bottom.
yeah, basically, right?
Yeah.
But that scene is very also like ominous because it's like Vault Tech. You find out that Vault Tech didn't have one solution to the bombs; they had multiples, and then
Yeah.
based off, I'm assuming how rich you were, which solution you were able to get.
Mm-hmm.
and
Hey,
it sucks those people
money
in that
talks.
home that did not get a seat in the vault.
Oh, yeah, no. Not even
And
close.
we assume that there's stuff like that in many countries around here and stuff that
Yeah.
like they have like places and they've already kind of like calculated like, all right, here's the people, here's this and that and stuff, and
The
like
allotments and everything. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So
You
so yeah.
donated this amount of money, so you get to go. You get this seat on the spaceship to Mars.
And you get the bigger cabin.
Exactly. Exactly. So were you? So, like you said, I was drawn to continue watching episodes. Did you have that same feeling, or were you like after two, you're like, I can wait?
No, I think I'm very drawn. I think I'm very drawn to the visual of everything, where it's like
Mm-hmm.
everything kind of fits the gambit of like the suit that she wears as the Vault-Tec person. Exactly. You see some of the like the people that come and invade the vault when like they steal her dad.
Oh yeah,
They
that was
they're raiders, and so they
messed
have like that
up.
leather kind of like armor. That's the same stuff in the game and stuff, and so that's like usually the first armor that you find is like the raider armor, where it's like just leather strapped to your shoulder. And then you have the opposite, where it's like you have this kind of like I was interested to see that like it's probably very like will happen in like a post apocalyptic time where like older kind of like methods of living life come back,
Yeah,
like the
living off the land, or
well,
like
like
hunting for
also like
food and
the
stuff like that.
dudes in the big robot suits,
Oh
where
yeah,
they're a knight and then they have a squire, and
yeah.
so that's
I
more
didn't
of
think about
like
that.
a medieval kind of thing that comes back and everything. They're almost like a cult because they have like this kind of like religious setting to them, but
Yeah,
also knights were like that too. They had the backing of the church and everything. So like I would that was interesting too because it's like to visualize it's called power armor, and you see it and like they're like stomping around, but it's
yeah,
like super powerful and stuff, and it I'm excited to see like other things, and I think Patty is too, of how the radiation affected other things.
hmm
Like we see with the ghoul, like he is I don't know if he dies. I don't know how like he's like 200 something years old if
yeah.
it's correct, right? So so yeah,
And he's
like
just
how does
hanging
that
out.
work? Yeah,
Yeah,
he's just got
like
and
all
people are
right,
afraid of him, so people know that those
people
dudes are
know.
kind of like are intense and
Like
everything.
he's been
So
through some shit. Yeah,
yeah, and they're not welcome in the lore market. So I think that is what draws me in, is just seeing more of like the
the
world that they were
world.
able to build around
Hmm
this and stuff, and it's stuck in the 70s, which is amazing. It's cool. And like even
Yeah.
the knight says the guy that dies, which is Michael
Oh,
Rappaport or
Rappaport.
something,
Yeah.
where he's like, yeah, I'm going out for this ancient tech, and it's just a toaster.
But I like the going back to the tech, like the TVs. It's crazy to think that was the top of the line television that they had, and it wasn't even in color. And now we have TVs as flat as paper, damn near.
Yeah, some of them fold and all
Yeah,
that.
yeah. We were kids. If something folded and it was a piece of tech, it was like, oh, you broke it. Now it's like,
Yeah,
oh no,
I
you should
remember a
fold that and put it in
TV.
your pocket.
Like you turn, I think I said it before. You turn it on and you saw the three lights turn on, and the
Oh,
three colored lights and how it
yeah.
projected into the screen and stuff. Big old tube TV that was like the width of a person and
I just remember the static. Like if you
everything.
go next, I was like, dude, what is this? Yeah.
Yeah, you felt the electricity and all the
Mm-hmm.
things going through
Like this
it.
can't be good for me right now, but I'm gonna sit right in front of it and watch this show.
Right? Hella bright too, and you're like,
Mm-hmm.
reason why we wear glasses, probably.
Probably because I was way too close to it. If you turn that thing on at night, oh my, it was the brightest thing in the world.
We still have our eyeballs. It's fine.
They're decent enough. We get by.
Yeah, I think I'm also excited to learn more about the Vault-Tec company, because like
Yeah.
what we kind of find out at the end is that that dude that tells her to cut his head off and take his head to the lady that stole her dad, is that I'm assuming he worked for Vault-Tec. That's why he knows a lot of like
Yeah.
which vault she came from, and what's interesting is that in the games you're able to find other vaults that you didn't come from,
Mm.
and then you find out that other vaults were used for particular things,
Yeah.
and so they would like manipulate the people within the vault to kind of like have this certain behavior, and then just to see what happens and stuff, and whether or not they will be better at living out in the world afterwards and stuff, or like just do random things like. So like the vault tech company is interesting to know more about in this TV show also.
Yeah, I want more. Like, I know I've watched a few more episodes than you, but I still, because they haven't touched on this yet, but I want more backstory on her family.
Oh,
Like,
true. Yeah.
why that vault functioned the way it did
Yeah.
and survived as long as it did. So that's what I'm interested. Like, I'm interested in the world of it, but I'm also interested in like, okay, why is your family so significant?
And then how it all worked. Like in the games, I didn't know the vaults were connected. I wonder if that's like a thing that they created for the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
Like because like I was like when they were like getting her a husband and everything, I was like,
Yeah,
are
that
they gonna
was
go outside? Like what's going
crazy.
on? Like what?
Oh, they just wanted like this back room, and it was like, ooh, the sun is out. Ooh,
Yeah.
they're getting married here. And then she almost got murdered.
And then they
Like,
all got murdered.
lady, that was the crazy. Like, I wasn't expecting that at all. Like,
No,
oh,
I guess
like
not. I guess me
kinda,
either. It's
but
like you're shocked. You're shocked. You're like, all
yeah,
right,
because you're
there
like,
has to be
okay,
something.
yeah, they have to have a twist. Like, okay, why is she gonna go out of this vault? And like, for your whole vault to get murdered, you should definitely leave
Yeah,
and
so
find better pastures.
yeah, I'm also I would be upset by the vault people, right? It's like I guess they were probably told right when they went into the vault, and then it was hammered into all of them. You have to protect the community at
Mm-hmm.
all costs, but then you just did not protect the community recently. So is your thing is like, all right, we're gonna seal off everything. We don't touch anything until
You're never
like
leaving,
hundreds of years from now,
which is crazy.
I guess it makes sense, but it makes me want to prep for the doomsday and everything.
Doomsday prepper over here.
I'm gonna buy some water and everything. I'm gonna buy
You're gonna
some
start
like
digging a hole.
some powdered eggs.
Goodness gracious! You're gonna start digging a hole. You might get to China before you build your vault.
But I'm excited. I know you've already watched 2 more after this, but I'm excited for the next ones and stuff. And I'm excited to see where they take this. Because what's interesting about the games is that the games are able to like be different from one in another, because they have the same stories basically, but they're in different locations around the world, and so you're able to find out that like, oh, this location, that's why they end up in Vegas, that's why they end up in Washington or something, and so it's like it'll be interesting to see if this one season is encapsulated by this one story, and then if they do another season, is it like a whole different vault with a whole different story and stuff.
I hope so. Like, I wouldn't mind if the second or subsequent seasons still follow the main character that we're following, but she's in a new location. That would be kind of cool.
She stumbles upon another vault, and it's like, hey,
yeah,
there's outside, and
she finds a plane and then travels to another city, and it's like, oh, hey, wow, there's vaults here too.
Yeah, that'd be interesting too.
They'll figure out something.
Well, I'm
They'll
excited.
Keep us entertained.
Yeah, I think Amazon is going to figure out how to keep us entertained and keep us wanting more and stuff. And so, but yeah, I'm excited for the next 3 episodes, and I'm excited for the next time we record for episodes 3 and 4. But yeah, let us know if you've seen Fallout episodes 1 and 2 in the comments. If you liked it, disliked it. Please try not to tell us the ending of this. Even though we'll probably get there in the next few weeks and stuff.
Yeah.
But remember to like and subscribe to Saturday Night Popcorn for more TV dinners like these.